What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is episode 944 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. We do not have a Tate Tuesday today, but I've heard from a reliable source that he will be back tomorrow. I was just in the middle of eating some Pop-Tarts because I'm like a snackaholic. Like, every day is my cheat day. I'm just a regular person. A lot of people tell me that, you know, I'm like in this rarefied air because I'm a podcaster, but I'm a regular person. I can have fun. Believe
it or not, I'm just like you.
Yeah, I'm just like all of you normal people.
Eating snacks.
All of you common folk. I eat Pop-Tarts. I'm quirky.
Yeah, look, it's in 2012, it was important to be a quirk chungus.
I think it was something that Jennifer Lawrence needed to do to get her career going.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, we're going to talk about it. That's something interesting that we have an article on today. But what I would like for you guys to do, please, is hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share the live streams and all the segments out with your friends and your family and your loved ones, everybody in your life that you both love and hate. Also, I've been doing these 10 a.m. videos. I would like it if you go out and check them out sometime, you know, in addition to watching everything else. I did one today about this tweet where somebody said that the reason you should go support Chris Stuckman's new movie Shelby Oaks is because Chris Stuckman is a queer creator, despite the fact that Chris Stuckman is married with a wife and children. The topic was basically about the idea that identity politics isn't enough to sell a movie, and his movie did fine. It did a decent amount over the weekend, especially compared to its budget. But after this episode today, you should go and check that out. And if you don't watch the show live, if you're listening to this, you can check out on the Weekend Update. That will be one of the segments that will be part of that. So I appreciate you guys all checking that stuff out. So what are we getting into today? Well, you know, every day, as I've said for years, there's always a women's summit going on somewhere, and there's always a Woman of the Year award being given out somewhere, and that is being done right now. Glamour magazine has awarded Rachel Zegler, amongst others, as Woman of the Year.
It's like, you get an award, everyone gets an award. Because, of course, you know, women would have a problem with
one person
that
winning.
Only one person can win. It has to be a group effort. So Rachel Zegler was one of them.
So we're going to talk about that because it seemed like an odd choice.
Because she's stunning and brave. That's why she won. She's stunning and brave, and she deserves it.
So we're going to talk about it. We are also going to talk about quirk chungus Jennifer Lawrence, J-Law, as I like to call her.
Yeah, this was the past life of Jennifer Lawrence, actually. She had since retired her quirk chungus persona, but recently did an interview where she addressed why she leaned into, like, being the relatable actress. And she deeply regrets it. She cringes now just thinking about it.
I think that's a problem. I don't think that she should regret it. I think she should be like, you know what? It was what it was. Don't be sad that it's over. Be glad that it happened.
Well, it's like it got memory hold because I asked you earlier, like, do you remember like when Jennifer Lawrence would talk about eating pizza all the time?
I did not.
Like, trip at award shows on purpose? But
that's even funnier. Okay, if she tripped on purpose, it's so calculating and evil. I kind of love it.
It happens. You know, it can happen to someone one time, right? But, like, when it happens multiple times, then I'm just like, okay.
Nobody's buying it anymore. All right. So we've got that. Also, guys, Mary found an account called EBT of TikTok. As you guys know, due to the government shutdown, November 1st is fast approaching. It's going to be a dark day in American history, as the EBT cards will not be refilled.
I've been told not to go to the grocery store.
And people are crashing out.
It's dangerous for women to go to the grocery store. And I'm just saying, can someone please tell me why it's dangerous for women to go to the grocery store in November?
Chat, you should let her know.
And be specific. Don't just say something like cryptic and dangerous sounding. I want to know, what is the actual risk? Like, is somebody going to mug me for my debit card and go in the store and use my debit card to buy their groceries? Is someone going to steal my groceries as I'm walking out of the store?
That could happen.
Am I just going to get caught in the crossfire with people who are trying to shoplift and, I don't know, like guns shots ring out? Like, I want to know what you think is going to happen to me if I go to the grocery store in November, because I 100% am going to go to the grocery store. I'm not listening to the people on Twitter.
And
I'm
look,
just, like,
we're not gonna talk about the government shutdown aspect of it. We are just gonna talk about this account and all of the crash outs that are going on.
Someone said yes and yes. Okay, well,
That's cryptic.
Look, if someone actually mugs me for my debit card or steals my groceries as I'm walking out of the store, I will report back and let you know, but I doubt that's going to happen. Because, I don't know, like, I'm built different. I don't know. They would be very disappointed if they tried to steal my groceries and all they find is, like, 0-calorie Gatorade and coffee and, like, pickles. You know, like, they would be very disappointed with that grocery haul.
Look, the rule of thumb, if you're going to rob someone coming out of the grocery store, you rob a fat person or you rob a family.
A family?
Somebody who looks like maybe the idea is like you don't quite like, maybe you look too young to be a mom.
I don't have kids with me at the grocery
That's what I'm
store,
saying. So
so
they're like,
I
well,
doubt...
I'm giving the criminals in this hypothetical the benefit of the doubt that they wouldn't steal from like a woman with the kids there, but maybe a woman who looks mother-coded, like she's got enough groceries for the whole family.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm
they're
not
like,
walking out of there with much.
Yeah, you got like one bag.
I've got like 3 bags maximum.
Yeah.
And they're all filled with 0-calorie items. So they're going to be very sad when they open them up.
So we've got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. It's going to be a fun one. If you are ready, Mary, we can go. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go for it.
So rumors have been flying for quite a while that there are plans to reboot American Psycho with a female lead in the Patrick Bateman role. It's going to be a gender-swapped Patricia Bateman, I suppose. And they already did that a while back. Mila Kunis starred in a gender-swapped American Psycho, which flopped. I think it was a straight-to-DVD movie, and it was widely hated for good reason.
Those types of movies were always straight-to-DVD films. You know, streaming kind of made people too big for their britches, as the kids would say.
But
Actually,
according
the kids don't say that.
to a rumor published in The Sun over the weekend, Margot Robbie.
Rumor.
It is alleged. Margot Robbie is being eyed to play this female lead in the upcoming Luca Guadagnino American Psycho remake. They say in this article, Margot Robbie is lined up to take the leading role. She's understood to be in advanced discussions about stepping into Christian Bale's shoes as a part-time serial killer, Patrick Bateman. So this was the source. If you're using The Sun as a source, I mean, just like LOL. A remake of American Psycho is in the works, and Margot is in the frame to play a female Patrick Bateman. Brett's novel and the film were so controversial, and the people working on the remake wanted to twist the narrative by having a female take on the lead. There was a huge backlash about misogyny when the novel came out back in the 90s, and by having a female killer, it puts up a different spin on the crimes. Margot's career is on fire at the moment. Taking on a role this gritty will really show what a sensational actress she is. The finer details are still being ironed out, but everyone that is involved in the process so far have said they're excited to get it announced and start work. So they're claiming that they need to gender swap Patrick Bateman to avoid backlash over misogyny.
I mean, I think they want to lean into the topic of misogyny, not worry about backlash. I think they want to have that discussion while making this movie.
I mean, was the original movie ever really
It's not something I remember. Like
called misogynist by anybody at the time?
I wasn't paying attention to this side of the media at that time in my life.
It came out in 2000.
Yeah, I was not. I mean, I was young. I was not that old.
I doubt there was that much of an outrage over misogyny back in 2000.
I mean, and if we're talking about like somebody like the stock market and like that kind of corporate job, like we're still like 7 or 8 years out from the collapse, like from the crash. So there isn't even that talk, necessarily the same type of talk about like Wall Street excess. It existed. That still happened. Remember that famous video of like Robert Downey Jr.? Have you ever seen that where he goes to the stock exchange and like deals with like the people on the stock exchange? Like, these are the worst human beings you've ever seen. And Robert Downey Jr. at that time wasn't exactly known as like a saint. He was, before he cleaned his life up, or at least right around that time.
Yeah, I mean, some people have interpreted American Psycho as more so a satire of Wall Street bros, or perhaps it's queer-coded. I don't know. I don't agree with those interpretations. I thought when I watched it, it was more so a satire of yuppie culture, and it was leaning into how inhumanly performative and status seeking his social circle is, that they're so self-obsessed that they cannot notice what's in front of their very eyes.
If you want to think about like the death of like shared culture and the death of shared pop culture, a la Matt Walsh's tweet from, was it like a week ago now? This movie will have none of the mimetic, and again, I don't think that this is going to happen. We've got an article that seems to state that this is not going to happen. I think that these sites just like to, grab clicks in whatever way they can. But if this movie was to get made, even if it's not going to, even if it was, it's never going to have the same mimetic quality that the original had. Never would.
And that was my prediction from the start. As soon as the remake conversation started, whatever they're going to do with it is not going to be anything good, because the fan base for this movie, as social media has kind of adopted it into mimetic language, it's one that appeals to mainly, chronically online autistic teenage boys. And that's just like not something that Hollywood is going to leave alone. They have to make the reboot into some sort of reimagined, humiliation ritual for the character, the same way that they did with Joker.
It's never going to,
and Blade Runner as well.
Even if it was the most cleverly made movie, it's never going to lean in. Like, women aren't going to like it the way that men like the original.
No,
it's never going to happen.
Someone pointed out that Margot Robbie is becoming the queen of being cast in movies that destroy the entire point of the original work. I don't know what they mean in reference to American Psycho, but I believe that's more so about her role in the Wuthering Heights adaptation that is widely hated at the moment. However, we do have a proof of concept for Margot Robbie in this role from back in 2016. She made a beauty routine video for Vogue at the time called Margot Robbie's Beauty Routine is Psychotically Perfect. And here is a clip from it. Yeah, you got to turn on the sound here.
All right.
There is an idea of Margot Robbie.
We're likely going to get copyrighted because the music is probably something that's
some kind of abstraction. But there is no real me.
Could you ever talk about could you ever talk about yourself in this self-serious of a manner?
Well, that's the point. It's the script from the movie.
An entity, something illusory. And though I can hide my cold gaze and you can shake my hand and feel flesh gripping yours, and maybe you can even sense our lifestyles are probably...
I didn't even clock her accent until like right there.
Well, she shifted it on purpose
comparable.
For dramatic effect.
I simply am not there.
Okay.
So that was just to promote her Vogue cover back in the day. But, I mean, that's cute for a spoof that's 2 minutes long, not for a movie that's 2 hours long and going to theaters.
That's kind of what Hollywood does now, right? It's the same concept of spin-offs where they take it's like taking passages from J.R.R. Tolkien and being like, let's make a whole 5 seasons of a TV show out of this one passage, or it's taking side characters that don't really need further explanation and then trying to explain how they got where they were, not understanding that character's only real importance to the story is that they bolster the main characters that have already drawn people in. That does not make them strong enough on their own to...
It's like if they made like a Dobby movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, that would be hilarious.
Like,
I'm surprised they haven't made a Dobby anime. In fact, if J.K. Rowling didn't own the rights to the characters, I'm sure there would have been...
Oh, yeah.
Just like they made, what was it, like the Lord of the Rings animated movie Last Christmas. I'm sure there would have been like a Dobby the House Elf Christmas special.
So Deadline has now debunked the rumor of the gender-swapped Patrick Bateman. I think I trust Deadline more than The Sun.
Just a little bit.
We're told by sources close to the project that Luca Guadagnino's American Psycho reinterpretation will not be gender-swapped. A report emerged out of the UK tabloids that the lead role of Patrick Bateman would be gender-swapped with Margot Robbie for the role. Cue minor online frenzy. We're told that's a non-starter, however. So... there are other rumors about Austin Butler getting the role or Jacob Elordi. I just don't want them to do it. Like, I know it's already too late, but they're gonna ruin it and not even retain the people who like the original. And
maybe then we
you're
can have
right.
is Patricia Bateman mid conversation.
Right. But you're correct that women would not be interested in a gender swapped American Psycho even if it were real. However, I can present you with exactly what that is. It's Jennifer's Body, starring Megan Fox. That really was, for all intents and purposes, a gender swapped American Psycho movie that didn't require them to recycle the IP at all. And it was, by the time it became a cult classic, a classic amongst a female audience. Because they didn't try to ruin, a boy thing. Not that American Psycho is exclusively liked by men, but majority.
Yes, the exception does not prove does not disprove the rule.
Right,
Yeah.
especially if we're talking about Gen Z.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard for anything that's become this mimetic to then be reintroduced to audiences, because it's like whenever one of my favorite things is every so often I'll see somebody post like found the Pikachu meme while they're watching Pokemon. The surprised Pikachu face, they're watching it. It's like when something becomes that mimetic on the movie level, it's very hard for people to see past that once it gets there. Though, funnily enough, last night I posted on Instagram, I was watching season 4 of Person of Interest, and I had no idea that the famous meme template of the 3 people holding guns to the back of each other's head in the church pew, and then the guy in the top pew of the church is then pointing a sniper rifle down at all 3 of them. I had no idea it came from that show. None. From Person of Interest, my favorite show of all time, and I had no idea that's where that meme template
crazy.
came. I probably just looked at, when you look at something so many times, I was actually probably looking at whatever the words they were putting into the to the boxes was, and I never actually looked at the faces. If I would have recognized Amy Acker's face right away. It would have made perfect sense. But American Psycho is so mimetic and in such a video way, like, the only saving the only saving grace is that they could get those editors over at Lionsgate to make a bunch of hype reels for it for social media. Where they're like where they're gonna have Margot Robbie coming in, and she's gonna be looking at videos of the original movie. She's like, it's literally me.
The only thing you need to know is that when your TikTok or Instagram feed gets taken over by Patrick Bateman edits, the Lionsgate TikTok edit team
I don't know who actually
responsible.
owns the rights to this movie, but I'm guessing it's not
it
Lions.
is Lionsgate.
Is it actually?
No, it's they said it's Lionsgate that is doing this. So yes, you literally are going to have your feeds taken over by Patrick Bateman memes for at least a few months before the release of this movie.
It will have none of the charm because it will have none of the authenticity of whatever mildly autistic person was making those hype reels.
Well, unless
before.
they're, staying true to form and hiring those autistic people.
Even then,
to make the edit.
just the nature of being hired to do it makes it less authentic.
I suppose so, yeah.
Just the nature of somebody not being up at 3 a.m. Drinking energy drinks and Mountain Dew, making Patrick Bateman hype reels makes it less real.
I will just bemoan the fact that Jennifer's Body 2 is in the works.
Really?
Yeah, this is from Discussing Film. Karen Kusama reveals a script for Jennifer's Body 2 is now in the works. She says, I'm not going to give anything away, but it sounds fun and crazy like the first film. And Megan Fox was also recently at a screening of the 2009 Jennifer's Body. I don't know why they were doing that. I guess they're just building hype over time for the sequel. Another one that simply does not need to exist. Yeah. We don't need a sequel. In fact, I thought I recalled her character dying at the end of the movie and Amanda Seyfried being in prison at the end of the movie.
They could just end up being a different movie entirely with different characters.
Completely different people. Yeah. They're gonna have Madison Beer playing
like they did
the new Jennifer.
Like they did I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then they did I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and then they did I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, which doesn't make any sense because it wasn't last summer, but
what's the point anymore?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep, it's going to keep happening.
Their wheels.
And for this franchise specifically, it's got even less of a chance of being successful unless something really unique is done to the script. They'd have to really, really sell it well.
Are they going to set it in modern day? Like,
I would prefer not.
How would that work?
I would prefer that they didn't.
Because everyone knows if the actual investment banker or like private equity guys in New York are just pathetic slop bowl eating robots.
Well, now they're just gonna make it. It's gonna be. It's gonna be the tech industry. It's gonna be worse.
Is it gonna be a tech bro?
No,
I guess that makes more sense for
That's
American
what I
Psycho
imagine.
set in 2025. Yeah,
Like it's some Elon Musk, Mark
Oh, no, you're
Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos-esque person. And then
aren't they already doing a dramatized
Yes.
like
Well, they're-
retelling
they're-
of OpenAI?
well, they're doing The Social Reckoning, which is the sequel to The Social Network. And then
Gag me with a spoon.
Yeah, and I think that's
The
gonna
Social
include,
Reckoning,
which is going to involve some type of like play on
Wow.
January 6th, which they filmed at the Canadian Capitol, wherever the hell that is, as if Canada doesn't really.
what they have one of those.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay.
I just remember reading about that.
The Social Reckoning. I thought it was a separate thing though. They're like making a movie about the founding of OpenAI.
I mean, that's the real thing, right? Sam Altman will end
something.
up being the bad guy in this movie.
Yeah.
And then at
it's
the end,
just-
you'll realize it's not real because it was
What's
all
not
made with...
clicking for me is that we know that these guys are just boring nerds at the end of the day. Like none of them have double lives or alter egos. They don't like listen to music. They're nothing like Patrick Bateman.
I'm sure they listen to music. They probably... I bet you they do. I bet you they listen to music. You know what? You know why? Because one of the first hobbies that a rich person can have that will allow them to show off the hobby would be like acquiring rare vinyl.
Right.
So they've got a record player that doesn't get used, and it sits in the corner with rare vinyl.
Well, there you go. It doesn't get used.
There you go.
They have no souls.
All right.
Justin Bieber just shared what he considers to be the definition of cheating. And it's a statement that's getting met with a lot of suspicion from fans. He shared this statement on a Twitch stream recently with some friends. And he basically said that if you think about a woman with lust, that is the same thing as committing adultery against your wife. And I just want to show the clip before we talk about it. He's... by the way, if you're listening rather than watching, in a giant pink hoodie and like they have In-N-Out all over the table in front of them. So this is like
That's what
post mukbang
See, that's
philosophizing.
the thing. Like, he'd be asking me, he's like, "Are you lusting after someone that's not your wife?" I'd be looking at the food, and I'd be like, "Does that count as lust?" Like,
Yes.
Is that yeah?
Yeah.
Then yeah, I'm calling me.
Staring at a cheeseburger lustfully
Like-
is cheating.
Is that gluttonous? That'd be gluttonous. It's not the same thing. All right, let's listen here.
If you even think of a woman with lust, it's the same thing as
Go all the way.
actually doing it,
And so-
committing adultery or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's the same thing. So it's like if it even just crosses your mind for 1 second.
So that was the 15-second clip, taken out of context. I don't know how it came up, but he also followed that by saying if you treat a man with anger or something, it's the same as killing a man. I don't mean to laugh. Obviously, Justin Bieber isn't the most learned,
We need
well-read,
him- no.
or eloquent person alive.
The not
But-
being eloquent part can be endearing because it comes off as more authentic than somebody who starts speaking in, some... Like, it's more endearing than Jaden Smith being
Oh,
faux
well,
intelligent.
Yeah,
I
because Jaden
But we need
Smith
to get
thinks
them
that
together.
he's like the second coming of, Buddha.
We need to get them
But-
together.
Justin Bieber.
Oh, they used to
I
hang out.
applaud Justin Bieber for this because he is trying to share the Christian faith.
Mm.
What cannot be disputed is that that's at the very least his intention, even if it's not being heard the way he intended it for people to hear. It is actually rooted in the gospel, and I guess if you guys don't know that, I'll read it. It's from the Sermon on the Mount. You have heard it said to those of old, you shall not commit adultery, but I say to you that whoever looks at a woman with lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. So that is biblical teaching. Justin Bieber, in his own words, is trying to share that with his friends and with the people watching on the stream. And even though it was maybe worded clumsily, I think
He was standing on business.
I think he was standing on business.
Yes, Yesh in the chat says, bro is just standing on business.
Literally.
It's
we
not
have
clocking
a
me.
20 from Pop Culture Junkie. I so hate to say this, but it's not who can come up with the best movie idea and the best script is to who can come up with the best pitch for all the private equity clowns who have no taste.
Yeah, okay,
Ugh.
so I actually did a video today on this article. This should come out on Thursday about how the real life heist at the Louvre would be a great way to finally get some of these networks to pick up the white collar revival, which they've been shopping around. All the creators are back on board, but they haven't found a network that wants to do it. And apparently USA Network doesn't want to do it again. But the Louvre, then you have your pitch. You're like, look at what happened in the real world. And you have an actual incidents to tether your pitch to try and get them you kind of have to help the executives figure out what the idea is and formulate it in their brains. So
Right.
He's right.
So Justin Bieber is weirdly getting a lot of flack for saying this. Here were some of the responses. This is so false for anything in life. You can't control your thoughts. If you act on them, yes, that's wrong, but a thought doesn't mean anything. And another response said, this will actually make you effed up. Accept that you're a man and accept that we are hunters. You don't have to act on it, but an innocent, quick lust thought is fine. Stop torturing yourself. Another one said, impossible standard to maintain, but I bet girls love to believe this lie. Another one said, he is saying it because he does it. So some people think he's overcompensating for his own behavior. There are multiple ways that this can get misinterpreted. So he's saying looking at a woman with lust is the same thing as cheating. Obviously, Justin Bieber knows that those are not the same actual things. He's saying that the root sin behind both of these things is the same.
We're past words are violence to now thoughts are violence.
They are, in a way. Being that the root sin behind fantasizing about cheating on your wife and cheating on your wife in reality is the same root sin. That's really what people are saying.
Okay. So
it carries the same moral gravity. It just doesn't look the same on the outside. And I think that's one way that he's getting misinterpreted. Other people are trying to accuse him of cheating on his wife, to discredit what he's saying. Even if he were guilty of cheating on his wife, which we don't know, that wouldn't discredit what he's saying. It would just make him someone who falls short of his moral ideals, which is all of us. We all fall short. So that's not really a rebuttal of what he's saying. And I think he's sharing this because he's been kind of on a kick of posting Bible verses. He was posting a lot of scripture just a matter of days ago. And he's been an outspoken Christian for quite a while now. But this reminded me of the backlash to one take from Dennis Prager. I think this was maybe last year.
I've never heard this before. You kind of gave me the cliff notes at the beginning. What is it?
So Dennis Prager was in the middle of some sort of debate with Matt Fradd on Pints of Aquinas about porn. So Matt Fradd he's been talking about the damaging effects of porn for such a long time. He's pretty much an expert on the subject. Okay. Dennis Prager, on the other hand, is trying to argue from his point of view as a religious Jew that looking at porn is not a form of infidelity to your wife, and it's not immoral to lust over women in porn or women that you see in the street. It's that in his moral framework, something is only wrong if you're actually doing it. Okay. And it got to the level of absurdity that Prager said someone looking at simulated child exploitation material is not wrong. He thinks that it is not immoral because if you're lusting after the child who, I guess in this scenario, doesn't really exist. It's a computer generated child.
We're talking AI.
Whatever.
Okay.
He's literally saying that that's not immoral. And people saw this and they were like, what the fuck? This is crazy.
Is this one of these things where it's look, a lot of the people in these spaces, they live in such a theoretical world because they're constantly discussing ideas that they lose sight of the practical application of everything they discuss in the real world?
No, I don't think that's the case. That's the case for what happened there. I think that conversation really illuminated for people how radical the Christian message is. And really, even if you're not Christian, you're still imbibing Christian ideas and a Christian moral framework if you live in the West. Most people actually still agree with the idea that fixating on lustful or violent thoughts is immoral because it damages you and your relationships in less tangible ways. It's harder to accuse someone of something that they've done in their heart than what they did outwardly. But most people, whether they identify as Christian or not, in our culture at least, do agree with that idea in principle. And that's the same idea that Justin Bieber is expressing here. It's just a lot of the responses were really disingenuous and quite cruel to him. However, I should point out some sussy things that Justin Bieber has done lately. This is just actually a couple of days ago. He was at a concert with his wife, Hailey, and longtime friend, Kendall Jenner. And here he is hugging both of them, like, from behind. I don't know what's going on here. This is just like, most people wouldn't think that this is normal. Okay. Right? Am I right? Most people, like, wouldn't think that's normal for their husband to, like, hug them and their friend like that, like, from behind.
Depends on how open the...
It was like a Coldplay moment.
Yeah.
A little bit, but not hiding it.
Actually, yeah, that could be that could be heavy meme material.
I don't know. And then it was pointed out that allegedly Justin Bieber had a relationship with Kendall Jenner when they were younger, and it obviously didn't last, but now he's with Hailey. Back when Kendall Jenner was on the cover of Vogue, he congratulated her and called her beautiful. That was
how long ago?
I think back in 2016. Okay. And then when Hailey Bieber, his wife, was on the cover of Vogue a matter of months ago, he said, "We got into a huge fight and I told her she would never be on the cover of Vogue. I was sadly mistaken." And
I forgot about that.
That speaks volumes. There's also a recent video that he posted with Sexy Red, where he's hugging her from behind and then ends up, like, kissing her. Not like on the lips, but like kissing her on the cheek, I guess. Like, this is
top of the head, yeah.
Just a little weird. And then
he's on the drugs. Okay,
I just figured it had something to do with substances.
And that's he's not living up to his own ideals.
I'm just saying, someone not living up to their own moral standards actually doesn't make them a hypocrite. What makes you a hypocrite is holding yourself to a special standard, and everyone else has a different standard. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like that's just such an obscure way to view the world now that just most people don't jive with, that aren't religious, right? The idea that, like, they believe that if you're going to preach something, you should always, in their mind's eye, they're thinking you better always match up to that. Otherwise, you're kind of preaching to people without, holding yourself accountable for your own actions. And that's, I would say, in a lot of ways, obviously not in respect to this situation, but that was probably part of the backlash against aspects of Christianity in the 2000s when we really started becoming a more secular nation. They felt like a lot of people felt like they were being preached to.
That was the 2000s.
I mean, that's when I think of, and like, because I was that was when I was in high school in the early 2000s, and that's kind of what I think of it is like. You're in the late 90s, people are telling you can't read Harry Potter because it's satanic. MTV is satanic, and then you see all the bad things that all of the mega church pastors get caught doing and stuff like that, and that a lot of people at that time, obviously we've kind of come back around. There's obviously very much a Christian revival right now where you realize that a lot of people are probably coming around to understand that just because these people didn't live up to what they preached doesn't mean that the teachings are bad.
Right.
But at that time, I think people had a hard time getting past the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What they perceived as
what they
perceived as hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy. And sometimes it is. Sometimes those, mega church pastors actually do hold themselves to an entirely different moral standard than
And I
other
think
people.
that just for, especially for people who may not have been raised religious, but just have like a general understanding of like the human condition and how they would want their friends to behave, that it felt like you're making a lot of, and that's not even a good thing. That means that led to where we are now, which is like, as long as it's not hurting anyone, what do you care what anyone is doing, right? Like, taken to its farthest conclusion, obviously it hasn't necessarily done great things for society, but you get an idea of where it started.
Simply put, we're all against murder, right? But if you murder somebody, that doesn't make you a hypocrite. It just makes you a murderer. It just means that, yeah, you probably thought murder was wrong to begin with, and you still think it's wrong, but you murdered somebody.
Yeah.
You're a murderer. You're not a hypocrite. We have a 20 from Shane H. Wilder. Justin is speaking the truth. Yes, intrusive thoughts we cannot control are not sins, but they become sins when we do not banish them from our minds. The more one banishes these thoughts with disgust, the less they have them.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
here's the problem with that, though. The idea being that it's the same thing as cheating. Well, in the real world, cheating isn't a 3 strikes you're out thing. Cheating is you do it once and you're out. So the idea is like you have the intrusive thought once, and you're going to hold yourself to the same standard that your partner would hold you if you got caught physically cheating in the real world. Like,
No, that's not the biblical interpretation of it.
I understand. I understand.
The intrusive thought carries no moral weight.
But that's how
whatsoever.
people are going to perceive it. Like,
Well, they shouldn't, because I think that's kind of a dishonest way to read what he was saying.
I don't think
Maybe
I
he
don't
could
think
have
it is.
done a
I think
better
it's- I
job
think
of
it's poorly
explaining himself.
explained.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
could have
think
done
it's-
a better job explaining it, but I got the message. But
What did I say? What did I
have
say
the
to you?
context.
What did I say to you when this started? I said anything somebody says to the contrary is going to be taken as a self-report. And when anybody gets put into that position to have to answer a question for something like that, they're going to find the person who's posing it to them. They're going to be like, look, you better be airtight in your beliefs. You better have no, there better be no leaky faucet. You better live up to your ideals 100%. Because if you want to put me in a position to answer this question, you better have risen to that occasion and lived by your morals every step of the way. Otherwise, they don't find that it's fair for a person who's just as fallible as they are to put them in the position to answer a question like that.
Well, that's why I think it actually means more coming from Justin Bieber, because at least as far as we know about him, he has been open about basically having a past with sex addiction. I don't know if he would put it like that now, but he says that he used to have a legitimate problem with sex. This was from an interview, I believe, back in 2019. It was his remaining vice, an addiction that had long since ceased to provide him any pleasure. Not having sex, he decided, was a way for him to feel closer to God. He said God doesn't ask us not to have sex for him because he wants rules and stuff. He's like, I'm trying to protect you from hurt and pain. I think sex can cause a lot of pain. Sometimes people have sex because they don't feel good enough, because they lack self-worth. Women do that, and guys do that. I wanted to rededicate myself to God in that way because I really felt it was better for the condition of my soul, and I believe that God blessed me with Haley as a result. There are perks. You get rewarded for good behavior. So the last part is a little bit iffy. I think he feels blessed that he did actually find love after being like a casual hookup seeker for years at a time. I think that's all he was trying to say there. But I mean, in reality, it's also part of the Christian worldview that you don't get rewarded for good behavior, and that's literally
Your cross to bear,
that's
so to speak.
explicitly told to you in the Bible that like you will be hated for being a follower of Christ, and you're probably going to suffer for it. Like that's part of the program,
That seems to be more and more true for you guys lately.
You know what? It is what it is.
It's one of the things I've found to be most interesting. I don't think that I've ever, like, until I had this job and I met people like you or someone like a Seamus, like I had never understood just like how much conviction somebody had to have to, believe something in face of a whole lot of pushback from traditional society as it is now.
And it has been worse in the past, as you said,
Yeah.
in like the 2000s, perhaps.
Yeah, it's coming back around in a way, with society being what it is now. A lot of people feel lost, like we've talked about men feeling lost these days. They're looking for answers. But yeah, absolutely.
Well, guys, share with us in the chat What's your personal definition of cheating?
We'll have
Since
to know.
It's now a subject of heated debate.
All right. What would you like to see, cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see the cute first.
Okay.
I think we saw cringe first yesterday.
Well, because I am a purveyor of nepotism, Olivia is
Okay.
here to provide.
I thought it was going to be Bucket.
Well, it is. It is Bucket. Yeah.
Oh.
So she heard yesterday when I was telling the story of Bucket being the most popular cat on the block in multiple cities, not just his own. Bucket Eugene. She got these pictures of both Bucket and Dusty, his brother.
Nice.
I don't know Dusty's middle name, but I'm sure Dusty has a middle name. More Bucket for cute of the day.
Very
He's,
cute.
So what will happen is that's actually, you can't tell from here, but that's like the downslope of like the street next to where we live, like right next to our apartment, and I will park on that hill and walk up the hill, and he will follow on like that kind of
That's
divider
nice.
there, that the banister, and he will follow me back because he knows he's going to get food when he comes back home.
They're living off the
they
kindness
are.
of strangers.
There they are.
Is Dusty the one standing up?
Dusty is the one standing up. Let's go right there.
I think that Dusty's middle name is...
We call him Dustbuster.
Oh, is it Buster?
No, we call him Dustbuster.
Dusty's,
But
Dusty's middle name is Bradford.
that's a good one. I like
I
it.
decided it.
Dusty's the best. But we don't see Dusty nearly as much. I think we see him a little bit more when it gets colder out because he's got more fur.
Mm-hmm.
But they're outdoor cats. They get to roam the neighborhood and get all the love and treats from
I've
all the
heard,
neighbors.
The ticks and fleas are really bad right
Out
now.
here,
You
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
be careful with
Yep.
these stray cats.
Gotta be careful. All right. And then cringe of the day.
This is a weird one, and like I'm sorry, but I felt like you had to see it.
Well,
It's an art project.
immediately before we're started, if you're listening here, the caption I can read says her name is Trauma Slut. So this is gonna go great.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Miss Trauma Slut, and she's in a place of submission. She's here waiting, delicately placed, yet poised and confident, waiting whatever is about to happen. I'm Precious Nicole.
Where do you find this shit?
This
is my For You page.
This piece is called Protect Me and Those I Love for Myself. We're separated from their utopia. We can't access these bears' utopia. They're laying in this pool of milk and honey that is coming out from this rock. It's very biblical. I've been making
Is that accurate? I'm going to have to turn to you.
I never saw or heard
didn't either?
anything about any of that.
It wasn't in the Bible you read, but okay.
I don't
a
know
lot
what's
of
going on there.
bears for a while. They're a recurring theme in my work, a lot having to deal with childhood psychology, a place of innocence, violence, submission, play. This is the first time I'm making these dioramas. They are hand painted.
I have no words.
I'm not even going to describe it for the audio listeners right now.
Glass stacked together to make an image. I wanted them to feel like you were kind of walking into this world. And it's so nice because sometimes they can be closed because it's your personal secret. It's a very like natural show and vulnerable for me. It's like, everyone welcome to my head. Her name is
I don't want to know what's going on in your head, lady.
Okay. Other than how disturbing all the imagery was, I never want to have to see that again.
You like it?
There is something, I suppose there's probably something deeply gratifying to be able to put the thoughts in your head to physical space.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's just that not all thoughts in your head need to be put into a physical space.
Sometimes you have something called an inside thought.
Yeah.
We need to bring that back.
Like
The concept of having an inside thought.
it's like it's very different. It's like you should never assume that whatever's up here is going to translate anyways. There's no better way to describe that than when you have like your shower thought rebuttal to an argument that you'll never actually get out during the actual debate. Like if you're not good enough to bring it up during the debate, then it's the shower thought is not part of your actual, like, it's not who you are. Like do famous debaters, do they have like shower debate thoughts?
I bet they do.
I bet you they do.
For sure.
Does Ben Shapiro
I
win
shower
additional...
debate people all the time.
Does Ben Shapiro have like shower debate comebacks that he wish he'd thought of to own somebody with facts and logic?
I do that all the time.
Okay. All right.
I also have a lot of dreams about debating people.
Really? Well,
Yeah, it gets.
What do you think
heated.
that's about?
My pent up aggression.
Think so?
Yeah.
A certain like anxiety to never want to feel like you've lost a debate or like feel like
Oh yeah,
you've,
it turns into screaming matches. Like I actually like fight people in my dreams often.
you take the podium you're at and you beat them with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I wake up and I'm like, why is my heart actually racing right now?
Okay. All right. I don't ever remember I only remember my dreams if life is in a specific amount of like disarray at the time. So if work is particularly busy or there's a lot of things changing, I'll have more dreams. Or if in general there's just a lot to be anxious about, I will sometimes remember my dreams, and they're rarely coherent and they're mostly just, they're kind of awful. But other than that, if life is generally content, I don't remember my dreams.
Okay. I remember them quite frequently.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's get started.
Glamour magazine just published their list of Women of the Year because, of course, there cannot be just one Woman of the Year. It has to be a group effort. Of course, women would not like the idea of an award where only one person can win. That would threaten their egos. But of all people, Rachel Zegler somehow ended up on this list. Rachel Zegler, I would love to know what she did to deserve the name Woman of the Year. And I guess we'll find out. But it says on this list, since 1990, Glamour has honored the world's most extraordinary women, trailblazers, rule breakers, visionaries, and champions who have defined each year. Meet the class of 2025.
So we do have the full
Yes.
class here. Let's go through
That
it.
features Tyla, Demi Moore, Pat McGrath, the famous makeup artist, Rachel Zegler, of course, Miss Rachel, the children's entertainer, and the entire WNBA. Not any particular WNBA player, just all of them.
Look, you couldn't.
All of them
You
win.
couldn't have like whittled it down to like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
We all know it would have been Angel Reese anyway.
Yeah, they wouldn't have given it to Caitlin Clark.
But yeah, just all of the women in the WNBA, they're all Women of the Year. So I went to their long interview with Rachel Zegler. It was actually conducted by her friend and colleague, Helen Mirren, who she met on Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
Yes, they did.
They, of course, did not mention that Zachary Levi had anything to
Look,
do with that
there is-
movie.
There is some plausible deniability there. Mary made the point when we were prepping the show that they mentioned Lucy Liu.
Yeah, it says, which also starred Lucy Liu, period.
They didn't, but they didn't mention Zachary Levi. But because it's a women on women rah 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 thing, I don't think that it's necessarily because of Zachary Levi. They didn't mention,
Wow.
I guess, Megan Good or Seth, or not Seth. What's Adam Brody? He's in that movie, right? I think Adam Brody was in that movie. The point being, they didn't mention any of the other people. They just mentioned
Yeah.
Lucy Liu because she was like co-bad guys with Helen Mirren in that.
Well, brace yourself, guys, because
Sorry, bad girls.
Rachel Zegler in this interview says the words pussy power. She does.
And I asked you, I said, is there some type of rule now that women in Hollywood have to be like intentionally vulgar to like own people or something, or to like is the idea supposed to be that I'm still supposed to imagine we live in a world where female decorum makes that shocking? Because that's not the way it is.
I'll just say it's charming when someone like Jamie Lee Curtis does it. It's not charming when Rachel Zegler does it, and I don't know why.
It's not charming when she does it. It's only charming if Margot, whoever that lady was in Britain, if she was to swear. The lady from Harry Potter. There's like...
No, I find it incredibly charming when Jamie Lee Curtis swears.
It's not charming.
I think that you have to earn the right to be an odious, antisocial freak.
Only
And I
J.K.
think Jamie Lee
Rowling is
Curtis
allowed,
has.
and J.K. Rowling doesn't need to because she's so literate and
Rachel
so
Zegler,
well-spoken.
on the other hand, has not earned that credit yet. They say from West Side Story to Snow White to Evita, the rising star is building a powerful platform, and she isn't afraid to use it.
That's the long and the short of it, right? Between her and Miss Rachel, it's that anything you do should be tempered with activism.
She notes at the beginning of the interview, I have not necessarily had the easiest time in the industry from the word go. That's an understatement. And they mention, of course, that she's starring in Evita.
Wasn't West Side Story like her first
West End.
movie? Like
West
her
Side
first...
Story was the first.
So
movie.
she went
Yeah,
from Steven Spielberg, right?
Yeah.
So she debuted with Steven Spielberg and was a Disney princess within 3 years. Miss me with that
Seems
nonsense.
pretty great for someone your age, actually. Audiences descended in droves to watch her belt the musical's signature song, now restaged for the public on the London Palladium balcony. To say that hearts have been stolen is an understatement. It's hard to think of a more dramatic reversal of public opinion since Princess Diana came out in the revenge dress. So now we're just supposed to believe that overnight Rachel Zegler is publicly beloved by all.
That's not true.
That never happened. But
You're lying.
I guess they would think that if they're theater kids. So then they're talking about her rise to fame and her YouTube channel that she started back in 2011. And then her getting her big break with Steven Spielberg. They say it's her casting as the titular princess in Disney's reboot Snow White that truly positioned Zegler as a new kind of star. Young, outspoken, and unwilling to kowtow to the parts of Hollywood, of the Hollywood machine that might prefer women to sit down, shut up, and be grateful.
They want people want the men to do that too. They want the men to sit down, shut up, and be grateful.
We do. It's not actually just women. First came the right-wing backlash against someone of Latina descent. Her mother was born in the U.S. to Colombian immigrants, playing a princess with skin as white as snow. Then Zegler was pilloried for describing Prince Charming as a guy who literally stalks Snow White. When she posted Free Palestine on X after the release of the film's trailer, she was harangued for that too, and was frequently blamed for the film's stumble at the box office.
So she did literally everything wrong. She literally did every marketing foible that one could do, and I'm supposed to celebrate because she has the right politics.
And they also failed to mention countless other examples that ruined her reputation. For instance, saying F you to Trump and all of his supporters and hoping that they never know peace. They didn't mention that. I guess that just didn't come
That doesn't
up.
sound like somebody who has a YouTube channel about hugs.
Yeah, her username on YouTube to this day is Rachel Zegler Loves Hugs. That's literally the person who has Be Kind in their bio.
Hugs of sadness, hugs of anger.
It costs $0 to be a decent effing human.
It also costs $0 to be a dick.
She says, honestly, I'm a duck. It rolls right off my back these days. Her candor hasn't been dented. This is a woman who clearly feels and cares deeply about the world. How exhausting that must be.
Look, okay, maybe I'm the bad guy here, but I don't think you can care deeply about the entire world.
No, this part is going to really piss you off.
I don't think that it's possible for you to care about to care to the level that they claim to about people you've never met.
That's not psychologically possible. But this part is really going to piss you off, I promise. Zegler still thinks it's important for actors to speak freely. We just need to normalize our hearts not having boundaries. There's this idea that we as public figures can't have thoughts or feelings because we're like paper dolls to the majority of the public.
Yeah.
And I guess she thinks that's unfair. Look, no one actually said that you can't have your own thoughts or feelings or political opinions or anything. Just don't share them on company time.
Yeah. And look, you're part of an industry that's going to pick sides either way. Certainly, Gal Gadot is outspoken about her support on the opposite side of the aisle of you for Israel, but Gal Gadot has a lot more goodwill built up in the industry and has a better understanding of how to come across as a likable person most of the time. It kind of shows in the fact that she can't really act that well, and she's still hired a lot.
Right.
Like she's kind of like on her own path, similar to how Sydney Sweeney is now, where They're not really great actors. They don't need to be. They have a specific public image that works for them. And if Gal Gadot can survive the Imagine debacle of 2020, you know,
anything's
that
possible.
proves to you that
Yeah.
goodwill matters. But if you've built up no goodwill with anyone, if you take every opportunity to stumble in the exact wrong way, like I said, most people, they didn't care about the political statements that came after the Snow White statements. And
Yeah.
we've also gone into detail that I don't think that that was necessarily all Rachel Zegler's fault. I think she was being fed from Disney about how it was going to be a girl boss movie.
Right.
And she was leaning into it because that's what Disney was going to do with the film. It went through 10,000 rewrites between when they did that D23 conference and when it came out. The problem is even if that's what Disney was feeding you, it came off extremely unlikable anyways because it was full of youthful bravado and arrogance. And when you're stepping into the role of a character that's existed for damn near 100, well, I mean, the Disney version was like 37 or something, so near 100 years, people are going to want to see a certain level of humility, a certain level of gratitude and grace. You showed exactly zero of that in any sense, and when you did later on, it came off as fake because it seemed like somebody from Disney sat you down and said, it's like when, okay, I'll hold the men accountable too, since they're making this about gender. When Tom Cruise comes out before the movie with his kind of dead eyes and he says, I love you guys for coming out to see the movies. Thank you so much. You know, it means the world to us that we get to do this for a living. I'm like, you know what? I'm willing to be lied to because I like him, because he comes across well to me on screen. He puts in a lot of effort and he sacrifices a lot for the movie he makes. When Seth Rogen does it, I'd rather choke on a kernel of popcorn than attempt to take him seriously because Seth Rogen is a piece of shit. So Seth Rogen gets no quarter. You get no quarter. Your ability to build up an image with the public is 110% you, your agent, and your manager's responsibility. If you can't do that, that doesn't make you powerful. It doesn't make you special because people don't like you. It seems like there's this instinct now in Hollywood, specifically with women, to say because people don't like you, that makes them special. People don't get liked every day of the year. Men, women, and everything in between.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
And never once has she freely addressed the comments she made that were contemptuous of Snow White.
Mm-hmm.
Nor has any journalist asked her to. It's still just the same repetition of people were mad at her for being brown-skinned and, like, supporting Palestine, which isn't the truth.
Okay, so there was people that got backlash when she initially got hired. They're like,
okay, but that's backlash against Disney, not her.
Yes,
And the Little Mermaid race swap was obviously way more of an extreme example of that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not only race swapping the character, it's also a ginger character, which has a lot of baggage, and the actress is black. But Halle Bailey, being that actress in question, people don't even remember her name at this point, but she was a very nice, pleasant, cordial, professional person on the promotional run for that movie, as sucky as it was.
I don't think they
And
realize.
no one remembered it after the fact. She never had any sort of hate sent her way. Rachel Zegler invited the hate that she received.
I don't know if she did. I am sure Halle Bailey got some messages. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter. It is your job as somebody who's about to shepherd forward a brand worth hundreds of millions of dollars to take those comments and deal with it. And people will have more respect for you if you are able to take them. They always want to talk about, we talk a lot about how they expect women to be like men. You know, stoically taking on the responsibilities of that character, which means the good and the bad, is your job. And the more likable you make yourself to audiences, the more they're willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. And I actually point that out a lot of times. In this space, people talk about YouTubers wanting to hate everything. From what I see a lot of time, people love separating the art from the artist because they want to be like, you know what? Don't like him as a person, but this was a pretty good job. This movie was pretty good. They do that with Pedro Pascal. People did that with Eddington and other things that Pedro Pascal has done. They're like, look, I don't like the guy, but... Like, is he powerful because people hate him because he's annoying? Like, it's got nothing to do with gender. It doesn't.
For having opinions while being good at her job, she has been branded controversial by tabloids. What keeps her grounded despite all the noise? She says it's her love for the work. I am the one who showed up and did my work every day. Nobody can ever take that away from me. I made lifelong friends on that job.
Okay.
She says this of her experience on Snow White. That kind of family doesn't get dissipated by online discourse. And they then mention her friendship with Helen Mirren, who she met on Shazam. And they mention that Helen Mirren calls her Little Rachel. She says that she needed like a slice of humble pie from Helen Mirren, who says, you know, when I was your age, I was surviving meal to meal and doing theater work, and
I was
look
making
at you.
I was making EBT TikToks
Right?
when I was your age. Okay. So I started coming up with a list beforehand, before the show, of people who would have made women who would have made suitable Women of the Year candidates that made more sense than Rachel Zegler. The number one on the list was Scarlett Johansson, who, with the success of Jurassic World this year, despite the fact that nobody remembers it, she became not just the highest grossing actress of all time, but the highest grossing actor, period, between all her Marvel roles and everything. I put Hailey Bieber on the list because she sold Road and became a billionaire pretty much overnight. Sydney Sweeney obviously was probably the most culturally relevant one, at least on our corner of the internet, the most culturally relevant woman when it came to Hollywood acting. And when it came to music, Sabrina Carpenter broke out this year and became her own star. And Taylor Swift, stacked up all the records again at the end of the year. All of these women make just as much, if not more, sense than Rachel Zegler. Now, if you had said to me, look, Snow White ended up making a ton of money at the box office in spite of all of this, then we could be having that discussion.
Sure.
But going to Broadway, where, that's to her credit, that's what she's best at, singing. And that's from two people. If I remember correctly, we both liked her Hunger Games movie. Thought she did great because her singing is her talent. That's what she's best at.
It was okay.
It was fun.
It was a good movie.
There's just people that make more sense. There's being hated does not make you person of the year. If that was true, Donald Trump would be person of the year every year.
Well, he was
or
on the
Elon
cover
Musk would be person of the year every year.
He was on the cover of Time, right?
Yeah, with like a crappy photo with like his like chicken neck or whatever this
They
is.
put him on
Rooster.
there. They put him on Time multiple iterations where he didn't look quite as bad. But yeah. Well, Helen Mirren just heaps praise on her for her resilience in response to the hate.
You
so
said
saying,
stuff that annoyed people and then put up with the backlash.
You're
Great
not
job.
you're not a woman of the year because people hate you. You're a woman of the year because you're so strong in response to people hating you. Helen Mirren said, "You're 24. You've got many years of achievement and creativity ahead of you. To have had this experience so young could be dangerous in the sense of, well, of course I'm a star because look at me, but I know with you that's never going to happen. You were thrown into a very unfair deep end."
No,
And
it's a deep end of completely of her own making.
"You were made to confront and deal with things people twice your age would find difficult. You've had that experience and now it's in you. It's made you stronger, wiser." I don't think so. And then the love for you in that theater when I watched you. And then Rachel Zegler responded, "Every experience I've had so far has been such a wonderful lesson learned. I loved working on Snow White, and I love that film. I've seen it a few times, and it became #1 on streaming on Disney Plus."
So if you're
Like
wondering,
anyone
guys,
cares.
let's.
So I know So this is her proof. So I know that it's celebrated.
So let's remove marketing from the equation. Snow White, supposedly not including marketing, cost like $270 million to make. It made $200 million at the box office. They split that 50% with domestic theaters, and even more of a percentage they lose if they're doing international. The movie lost hundreds of millions of dollars, especially once you include marketing. It was a flop. It was poorly conceived. She was set up to fail by stupid Disney executives whose job it is to know which way the wind is blowing in society, and sent her out there to dry. But even in the face of that, she handled it poorly, and that doesn't make her Woman of the Year. I'm sorry. She is young enough, however, to pivot and she is young enough to reinvent herself. There is something that I would hope for society, and that we never lose love for the redemption arc or the comeback story. That doesn't even, and that does not require her to change her beliefs. It requires her to change her presentation and her ability to show a semblance of humility and respect for the audience.
Do you think it's ever too late to reinvent yourself, to rebrand?
No, I don't. Especially once you reach that level of fame. You reach a certain level of critical mass, and eventually, you can reinvent yourself in some way. You won't always win everyone back, but outside of the most heinous things, I think there's always the possibility for reinvention, especially when you're somebody like her who is so young.
Yeah. I doubt that's going to happen for her, but it's a possibility.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
All right. Shane H. Wilder said, Happy Tuesday, Brett and Mary. So it is the birthday of the author of Brideshead Revisited, Evelyn Waugh. It was a question on Hallow's Daily Trivia. Oh, interesting. Because it is kind of considered like a Catholic novel, just implicitly so. iVoltage75 said, my initial reaction, well, at least they gave it to an actual woman. Yeah, that's a win. I say that's a sign that we're post-vibe shift. There were only biological women in the running for Woman of the Year this year and going forward.
That's crazy.
Hopefully. Dylan Mulvaney was nowhere to be seen. Neither was Hunter Schafer. I think we're safe. We're marked safe. Rural
Guys,
Conservative.
We're like 3/4 of the way to a crisis party. Let's go.
Rural Conservative said, I love the term crisis farmer. I'll add that to my crop rotation, corn, soybeans, and crisis parties. You're helping us reach our crisis parties. Thank you.
Let's do one more.
Shane H. Wilder said, you'll be fine. Ain't no one gonna do shit. I agree. I don't know what everyone's so worried about. Like, I'm gonna show up to the grocery store and it's like pandemonium. Like, someone's gonna, I don't know, if they try to steal my groceries, then I'm safe. I just lost some money, I guess.
You're like, oh no, my Gatorade.
Oh no, like, you stole my, like, $12 worth of beverages.
All right,
I don't know.
Let's hold off on the rest.
This clip could age really poorly, by the way. Just saying.
She comes back. She's like, they got everything. They got my wallet. They got my car. They got my groceries.
I might not even come back if it's as bad as people are saying.
No. All right, let's move on.
So Jennifer Lawrence, you may not recall this. She used to have a persona that she used when she was on red carpets, doing interviews, promoting her movies at award shows, what have you. She would always try to lean into this super relatable, quirked up, Quirk-Chungus persona. And it was like, I'm not like the other celebrities. I like pizza and I trip and fall all the time at award shows. And I'm like a regular person who somehow ended up in Hollywood.
She just woke up one day and was there.
Constantly. And if you look up like Jennifer Lawrence quirky on Google Images, you're just going to be scrolling for eternity through all of her quirked up derp faces on red carpets. It's never-ending library of this stuff. She's like going like this, like, like she just cannot stop. Since then, she has seemed to kind of step back from that and take on a more serious tone. She's a mother now.
She's a very serious photo.
She wants to be respectable. People honestly don't even remember that this used to be her brand at this point.
Yeah.
Speaking of pivots, it's never too late to pivot. She did that. And recently in an interview with The New Yorker, she addressed why it was that she was so obsessed with seeming relatable at the time. She goes back to these old interviews and she cringes at herself, at her former persona. And she explains now why she did it. So she says that she's now hesitant to speak to the press while promoting movies. She says, every time I do an interview, I think I can't do this to myself again. I feel like I lose so much control over my craft when I do press for a movie. And this is when the subject of her old interviews came up. She winced and said, "Oh no, so hyper, so embarrassing." While the public initially loved Jennifer Lawrence for her candid, self-deprecating personality, perception of her online eventually soured with claims that it was all fake. She says, "It is or was my genuine personality, but it was also a defense mechanism." So it was a defense mechanism to just be like, "I'm not like that. I poop my pants every day." I look at those interviews and that person is annoying. I get why seeing that person everywhere would be annoying. Ariana Grande's impression of me on SNL was spot on. And at the time that Ariana Grande did the Jennifer Lawrence impression, she was like going like, "I'm like a snackaholic. Like, I'm just like constantly like snacking all day, and like every day is my cheat day." And like at the intro part, Ariana says like, you know, I'm a celebrity, so people told me not to do a game show, but like, F it, like I can have fun. I'm a regular person too. And it's like, no regular person talks this much about being a regular person. Yeah. So the public backlash against Jennifer Lawrence became uninhabitable, as she put it. I felt I was rejected, not for my movies, not for my politics, but for me, for my personality. Lawrence has been open in past interviews about needing to take a 2-year break from Hollywood.
It's actually even funnier to think like it's got to hurt even more. It's got to hurt even more to be rejected for your personality than your politics. Like
not even your politics, not your looks.
Somebody rejects your politics. You're like, all right, you know what? We're not exactly talking about kitchen table issues here. Fine. A lot of people don't like it. But if people are just like, you know, you as a human being, that ain't it.
Yeah. She said, "I think everyone had just gotten sick of me. I had gotten sick of me. It had just gotten to a point where I couldn't do anything right. If I walked a red carpet, it was, why didn't she run? I was people-pleasing for the majority of my life. Working made me feel like nobody could be mad at me. I said yes, we're doing it, nobody's mad. And then I felt like I reached a point where people were just not pleased by my existence. So that shook me out of thinking that work or your career can bring any kind of peace to your soul."
That's honestly, like, I know that she's being quite honest here, and it's actually impressive. But, you know, I don't know her net worth. I loathe to speculate, but I imagine it's nice to be part of an industry, or at least, I'm sorry, to be at the upper echelons of an industry where when you realize the public is sick of you, you can just not be in front of the public and take time off of work.
Right.
Whereas if you're a job and everybody's sick of you, but you don't make that much money, you better just be okay with people not liking you because you're going to have to be in front of them anyways, whether it's your coworkers or...
Most people cannot afford to take a 2-year sabbatical from anything. So I guess she needed to take some time to step back and reflect.
Me time.
To have a baby as well. I mean, she's still kind of crazy. She's like super politically engaged, and we've talked about that
argues with her
in the
family
past,
about Trump and
but you know, guys, if you haven't read the ancient texts, I would just like to walk you through this from the early 2010s when she was still like relatively new on the scene, promoting the Hunger Games franchise. She played this super stoic character of Katniss, and then when she was in interviews, she was this like manic pixie dream girl, like sticking her tongue out and making the double chin face all the time, talking about pizza and burgers. She's like, I eat a burger after the award show. Like, I'm not like the other celebrities. And in contrast, Scarlett Johansson is totally the opposite, and she never needed to lean into that to appeal to anyone. Scarlett Johansson was actually lauded for her intellect and scrutinized for possibly being like a faux intellectual, but she was remarkably well-spoken, had a remarkably wide vocabulary compared to other actors of her time and now, and just had this incredible poise and calm in the way that she did interviews, but without being too robotic or cold. Scarlett Johansson is the anti-Jennifer Lawrence in this way. But back in 2013, here's just an example. An article titled, "Jennifer Lawrence, America's Kick-Ass Sweetheart." She trips at the Oscars, swears in interviews, and talks about pizza like it's her best friend. She's the anti-Hollywood star, and audiences eat it up. She's like the cool girl you'd grab a beer with. Her interviews are hilarious. She doesn't act like she's above everyone else. And of course, the 2013 Oscars fall that she took is a big moment for her. It's like gift everywhere. She's obsessed. This is from a BuzzFeed article in 2013. She's obsessed with food, laughs at herself, and doesn't care about looking perfect. She's basically one of us, but with an Oscar. And I'm like, nobody in 2025 would interact with celebrity culture this way, ever. Like, it's unheard of. Because we've just accepted at this point that they're not relatable, and when they're trying to be relatable, it's obviously
fake.
phony.
I mean, the thing is now the next step, the next evolution of that is when you realize that the influencers that you like trying to be relatable are also not relatable.
This is actually a tweet at the time that said, Jennifer Lawrence is talking about snacks again. Can she just be a normal celebrity? Hashtag over it. People used to use hashtags to express themselves. People they grew tired of her Quirk Chungus persona.
She likes pizza. She's just like me.
Can you pull up these photos of her from the SAG Awards in, like, I think 2014? This is maybe toward the tail end of her Quirk Chungus era. But look at this shit. This was her
Lupita!
At every event. Every event she was doing this.
I mean, okay, this was at SAG. I was like, no premiere for 12 Years a Slave needs that facial expression.
Yeah, right? Like, I loved you in 12 Years a Slave.
12 Years a Slave.
And then this one,
the best.
this next one, she's like,
Yeah.
And then the next one is like, yeah. And then the next one is like, and then we've got her with her Oscar, or no, her SAG award. She's like,
It's like the last remnants of like MySpace photo culture.
right. Yeah, definitely.
It's like she's especially with her hair.
Yes,
All she needs is like a digital camera with just literally the brightest flash that's ever emitted from a camera before.
The last one is a classic. What if I make an ugly pose?
Does that challenge your beauty standards? Of course, the other option here, guys, is then you start taking things more seriously and you go to interviews and you say stuff like how you're the first female action star.
Well, yeah, you said, how would you know how to conduct yourself in interviews if you're the first actress to ever be interviewed?
I mean, if I were her, I would start leaning into that and start making crazy statements like that for every interview.
She needs to do more comedy movies, less stuff that's like taking itself way too seriously.
No, I think she should.
People seem to like No Hard Feelings.
She should stick with the drama, and she should just become overly. No, you know what? I want her to go down the Gwyneth Paltrow route. She should become snooty and inaccessible.
The reason she's doing press right now is promoting Die My Love, the Robert Pattinson drama, where she's like, I guess she's a mother that's going through some sort of psychosis, and their marriage is falling apart. It was the clip that we showed you last week.
Yeah, with all the overacting. I also saw this tweet. Somebody says, it's a sick world when charming people like Jennifer Lawrence have to feel like this when Ryan Reynolds is allowed to continue his insufferable shtick for decades.
Allowed?
So that's the problem. She was allowed to as well. She just had to commit to the bit and keep doing it. He's committed to the bit all the way to that Mint Mobile billionaire status.
Right.
So...
Yeah, they're both allowed to have their quirky persona. It's just one of them was able to really commit to the point where people actually think Ryan Reynolds talks like that.
See, the opposite end of this is like Mr.
Can't stand Ryan Reynolds, though.
Is Mr. Beast, who has to now never make faces like that because he made so many thumbnails. He's got to be like...
Yeah. I love Dakota Johnson's persona for the same reason that I despise what used to be Jennifer Lawrence's persona. Because obviously Dakota Johnson, an acolyte of Gwyneth Paltrow in many ways, does not attempt to seem relatable to the public.
I think that's what people want now.
That is...
Like, it does...
It used to be like we want the relatable celebrity. We don't want that anymore.
Because what was once popular was for you to be relatable. What is now popular is for you to be authentic. And if you're a multimillionaire working in Hollywood, best you just be authentic. It's honestly, it's probably why people like the Kardashians. They're disconnected from reality. They know nothing of the lives we know. That's why people were okay with Kim Kardashian. Be like, yeah, I don't know what a fucking gallon of milk costs.
Yeah.
Tell me. I want to know.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, it's better than her pretending like she does, or pretending like her plight is the same as yours or mine. It's not the same, and it doesn't matter.
So true.
Yeah. They just need to get back on track and start being inaccessible again. And I do think that that same reckoning will come to the social media influencer class as well. The really successful ones. The really successful ones who have brand deals and are making millions of dollars but are making content in their home can live and die on the idea that just because they make content on a phone rather than a nice camera means they're somehow relatable to you or to me. That's not true. And eventually, as the generations continue and people become more and more social media literate and more people understand what the making of all this stuff is, a lot of work goes into like when they're doing these brand deals. It's not like they got like an Instagram message and they just went and filmed it. No, they went back and forth about a price. They talked to their manager. They talked to their. They had to look at a script over. They had to rewrite it so that it fit their vibe. It's not real. Not in any true sense of the word. So when I used to cringe because you'd see the things where people are like, it's a rarity when somebody can take like a brand deal and like, this is a product that I use. And I have a specific couple of influencers that I believe when they say that most of the time. But most people now understand that that's the price of doing business. And if you're going to shill for some product, they know that that's the price of keeping the lights on. Don't pretend like you use it. Don't be like, sign up for BetterHelp today. And then like 5 minutes later, be like, yeah, I think therapy's trash. Like, I don't care. And like people understand that that's like the cost of doing business. Maybe you don't do it in the same segment. But the point is, you know, it's not relatable.
We would never sponsor
BetterHelp.
No. But guys, just so you know, I actually do enjoy Mary's Ghost Blend. I'm not like these other influencers. I'm authentic. I drink this stuff and I recommend it to you from the bottom of my heart. I'm maybe not that relatable, but I am authentic. I am honest. And I want you to go to castbrew.com and buy yourself a bag of Mary's Ghost Blend. That was the perfect opportunity. Thank you for that.
Should we just go into Super Chats or should we continue?
Let's jump right into the next topic. Why don't we?
Okay.
So you might be familiar with Libs of TikTok. It's this account that chronicles the excesses of the ultra woke liberals on TikTok, all of their crash outs and mental breakdowns, especially post-election. And there is a new account of the same type called EBT of TikTok. And these people are panicking over the possibility that they will lose their EBT cards, their SNAP benefits, starting in November due to the ongoing government shutdown. So SNAP benefits are going to run dry. This is the bio here. EBT of TikTok says over 40 million Americans receive SNAP benefits through EBT cards. That is 1 in 8 Americans. Make America work again. 1 in 8 is actually a crazy number. I would not have guessed. I mean, maybe I would have guessed higher or way lower, but that is quite a shocking figure. And this account is just chronicling minute by minute all of the people freaking the F out about losing free food from the government. It's just countless examples you can scroll through. But we're only going to show a couple. People are threatening to start mugging customers at grocery stores who are paying for their food. They're threatening to shoplift their food. They are threatening violence and riots, all publicly with their full faces and government names showing with zero self-awareness of how this is going to work out for them. Whenever the discussion of civil war would come up and you know, when you work here, the topic of civil war
does oftentimes come up. I said, you know, I think that people are kind of too comfortable, and I don't mean that like as in they're too comfortable per se, but the idea is like they're not starving, they're not wanting for food, that real riots would start when people couldn't eat. But I was considering that more along the lines of like food shortages and a lack of actual supply, like supply chain issues, not the
Right.
not just because the government was shut down because they can't pass this bill.
Yeah, we don't have a food shortage.
No.
That's not the problem here. Another thing that they're saying on these TikToks is like quite literally like it's the government's job to take care of me. Maybe we'll get to that in a minute. But here is the first video. This woman is asking, what did you think was going to happen when food stamps get cut off in major cities like hers, Philadelphia?
So y'all motherfuckers want to cut off the food stamps. Cut off the food stamps in the most important month that motherfuckers need food stamps. What did you think was going to happen? I live in Philadelphia. What do you think is going to happen? Well, there's people out here riding, stealing, and all this shit. Where you think I'm going to be? Yeah, here's my list, sir. Here you go. Thank you very much. Give a motherfucker $10. They come out with the whole fucking Thanksgiving dinner. Play with me.
And this next TikToker shows off her shoplifting haul. Everything that she just stole from a store. She's in her car outside showing her followers what she's going to make for dinner that night.
I'm out of the store. So they wanted $7 for this. Mind you, I don't have food stamps anymore. They cut me off. So I only had $22 left in food stamps. So this is what I stole. Okay, they wanted $9 for this.
How much did the nails cost?
Yeah, I'd
I
love
said,
to know.
I don't got $9. Then they wanted $2 for this. They wanted, sorry, it's all fucked up because it's been in my purse. $7 for this. I'm making some stuffed salmon today. These are needed. I'm not paying $7 for that. Okay, let me show you the most important thing to me. Short ribs. Take off the label so that you don't beep. Get your fucking meat.
It's funny
How
because it's
many
like
do you
it's
think that I
literally
got?
so easy to just buy rice and beans.
How many short ribs is that?
Okay.
In a second video from the same TikToker, which I just sent you, she actually explains her motivation for doing this further. She
Deep and
learned from
philosophical,
the
I
white man to just take it.
And can I be real? More of y'all bitch ass niggas should have started taking shit from the motherfucking corporations a long time ago. Y'all just didn't have that shit in your motherfucking bones. Get out there and get in the motherfucking field like I told you. Everything out here is yours. Whether or not you take it, they call that shit free will. I call that shit eminent domain. You know what I'm saying? One thing I learned from the white men, take it! Hey, now! Take it! I don't give a fuck who's already sitting there. I don't give a fuck if your land was already established. Bitch, it's mine now, and I want it.
So this is like
That is
reverse
what we should be
colonialism.
preaching
You're
in the
colonizing the grocery store by stealing the short ribs.
Land
Is that what we're
to
talking
the
about?
fucking masses. Act more like a white man. Take it for yourself, bitch, and you won't be worried about who don't got it. You see what I'm saying? Get out there and radish.
Man, they're gonna start locking up the short ribs. It's crazy.
Bro, sometimes I go skate just so that I don't have to make food. Sometimes I go skate. Mine's more usually like I'm like I don't want to eat extra. Like have you ever heard this saying? It's like you're not hungry, you're just bored.
Yeah.
Well, that works too when you're poor.
You're not hungry, you're just poor. No, I'm just kidding.
There have been times in my life where it's easier to go to sleep rather than to stay up just because you're hungry and you'd rather be awake or you'd rather be asleep rather than be awake and hungry.
Sure.
Yes. So this sucks.
Yeah. Another TikToker said that she receives EBT and it literally effing is, as she put it, the government's job to take care of her. That is literally exactly what the F their job is. It is to make sure that their people can live, let alone have a good life or a decent life. So she thinks that the government is mommy and daddy.
Well, I mean, if this
what she
person
thinks.
is unable to work or they're physically impaired, sure. I guess you could say like having social safety nets matters in a lot of ways. but what I just watched is not that.
Oh, forget that. This other guy says that federal assistance like EBT should be a right guaranteed to everyone.
No.
Universal basic groceries. That's what it is. Universal basic McDonald's.
Do you know who suffers the worst from all this is the people who are honestly like in a period of transition and they're using a program like this. And that does exist, so don't pretend like it doesn't. It may seem like a unicorn now, given the fact that how much bloat there is on these programs. And I have talked to people who have like worked in these departments who talk about how they're like, yeah, I just know they're lying. When I'm talking to them, I know they're lying. There are people who are in that transition period where they're trying to get back on their feet, and it puts a bad taste in everyone's mouth when this is what you think of when you think of EBT programs or any of these types of social safety nets.
I saw Matt Walsh interacting with someone who was disagreeing with his take about EBT. I think this was like last night or something. This guy was saying, like, my mom uses EBT. I forget the details, but saying like she can still barely afford her groceries and she receives like whatever amount.
If she has no dependents, she's likely getting very little.
And then Matt Walsh pointed out something that is quite relevant to the discussion, which is that like where the government fails to fulfill people's needs, usually what happens is that both charitable giving and family, depending on each other, fills those gaps. And Matt Walsh said to this guy that replied to him, like, bro, like, help your mom. Like, that's a valid thing to say, because you have more of an obligation to your own family members than the government has an obligation to them. You're more obliged to help your mother than the government is, because that's actually implicating all of us.
I mean, look, he's knowing nothing about that guy's situation. How do you know that guy doesn't help his mom pay for rent, but can't afford to pay for both her rent and groceries? He's assuming
going off of what
he's assuming this guy is doing nothing for him. And look, I think in a perfect world, sure, you might say that, but I find that this is one of the things. Remember when we had the whole discussion about immigration? And I pointed out to people why I think most human beings, be it men or women, are not suited for leadership or for power, like the president or something like that. A lot of people can say that they want to deport. And turning people away at the border is fine. It's a whole nother ball game to tell somebody to deport your neighbors and the people that you live in the same area as, because you will see them as human beings before you'll see them as, you know, numbers on a page that are taking down the U.S. economy and hurting the job market and all of those things. Your humanity tends to come first. And those large-scale concepts, even if they're accurate, don't hit you the same way because all you see is a human being in front of you. When we're talking about something like this, it's very easy to say that the government should not be involved because we know that it's ripe for abuse, it's ripe for corruption, it's ripe for all sorts of misuse, as we're seeing in programs like this. But it's very different. Most people aren't going to look at a woman who might not have kids or might not have any family members to help her. Should a charity do it? Sure. But the point of the taxes, especially with the amount of money that they take in our taxes every year, is to wonder, like, should some of it not go to the people that actually need the help? In which case the problem is the corruption and the misuse and the scumbags like this who are making videos about the shit they're stealing because they don't want to just go work. I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater because grandma who doesn't have any kids or family or anybody to help her, and she's going to be getting so little it's not even funny because she doesn't have dependents. She's not abusing the program. I know that's probably not a strong take here, you know, but...
Okay, well, certainly I think that more people are open to hearing, you know, that money, that taxpayer money should stay here in this country, and we should not be funneling billions of dollars to other countries and war efforts.
And we print the money anyways.
However... Okay, well, just because we print the money doesn't mean that we.
No, I'm saying that
print it for the sole purpose of...
No, that's the opposite. What I'm saying is that like we can't even catch up to it because we're printing more anyways.
Yeah. And people are also, I'm sure, at least on the right, more open to the idea of at least scrutinizing the individual cases of people who might be abusing the system.
Okay, somebody in the chat says, stop the suicidal empathy, Brett. Suicidal empathy would be saying that we should give every illegal immigrant food stamps and we should be helping this lady out even though she's stealing from grocery stores because society has kept her down. Saying that Meemaw down the street who doesn't have any kids, no family, no one to help her, that is not suicidal empathy.
Okay, but we're saying, I think that like what we're saying is 1 in 8 Americans are not Meemaw.
Yes.
1 in 8.
No,
I mean,
absolutely.
That probably means the majority of people
That's
who are
why
using
I
SNAP are abusing it.
But that's why I pointed out corruption. Like, then it becomes the eternal battle. How do you root out the corruption, which is so deeply instilled in these programs? How do you get rid of it? You almost can't. So what do? Do you get rid of all of it? And like I said, I'm not ready to, like with the amount of money, like I said, that we spend every year on shit that doesn't matter, I guess I'm not ready to throw the baby out the bathwater. I would love for an investigative division to catch these people. And I do think drug testing would be a fantastic way to start curbing things for these programs.
Certainly, yeah.
Look, I can't. But they said, that's why I'm never going to be president. And that's why I would not be suited to make those calls. But I think when you exist like we do here, a lot of what we talk about is the theoretical. Somebody in the chat said, they said, I could argue that not deporting illegal immigrants dehumanizes the American citizens. I said, yes, that is a very, very well-spoken and rational perspective down the line, but most people won't see that if they live in cohabitate in the same places as these people, which is why it was so nefarious to begin with, to let so many people in and make them your friends and neighbors while turning them into a permanent slave class with no actual rights because they're not citizens. Well, people build sympathy and empathy for them. It's an extremely nefarious structure that's been going on for a very long time in this country. But I don't consider my perspective to be suicidal empathy. I think mine is the rational perspective for somebody who does believe in social safety nets.
I just find it funny when people go on a public social media platform and like openly admit that they're already committing crimes, but that they plan to commit worse crimes. Like some of these people are saying like, you know, we're about to like do the purge, like we're about to start rioting and invading people's homes, saying that they're gonna loot Walmarts and Targets.
People are doing that anyway.
There are people saying like we're gonna rob all the white people, like literally saying that, like completely with their face showing, with their name showing, with their location. It's crazy. And like I mean they're also a lot of the time in these videos they're openly admitting like I don't want to work, so I have EBT. Like they're just saying like I don't want to work. Like that's crazy.
And that should anger everyone, including the people that agree with them about social programs, who are like, look, you're giving these programs a bad name. You're hurting the people who actually need help. You need to stand on your own 2 feet and do your best. If that means you get the help from these programs while you're starting out, so be it. But your goal, it's like when we talk about nonprofits, the goal should always be to make it no longer necessary. The goal should be that when you go on EBT, that you can see yourself getting off of it as soon as possible, and they should not be forever programs for people who are able to work.
Here's one. Man says people need to get their ski masks ready to start coordinating how they're going to loot stores like Walmart. Woman encourages people to, quote, just lie on applications in order to qualify for EBT.
I wonder what they mean about lie. I wonder what they say lie about. Like...
no, like they lie about their income, like saying that they don't have any income.
Don't they have to provide
to qualify for more?
A tax return or some type of, I don't know. I make $1 a year.
Yeah. Says she doesn't feel the need to pay for food, has been on food stamps since 2016. Another man says, I'm not paying for a damn thing when stamps get cut off, which also means I'm stealing. Another woman warns people who work at these stores to mind their business when they see people with carts of stolen products. She admits that people like her and her sister steal with or without food stamps.
And look, and here's my argument to these scumbags, which is that they believe that these companies can just incur infinite losses forever. And then what do? You screw it up for everybody else in your community because the store can't take endless losses day in and day out. Eventually, they will try a couple of things. They will lock the stuff up first. When that fails, they will close the store. And then every good, honest person in your neighborhood no longer has access. People who can't drive. That was me for 10 years. I didn't have a car. I had specific stores that I could go to because they were within walking distance of my house. And if people are going to be scumbags and steal from there constantly, the store will get shut down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is crazy how literally all of the women in these videos have extravagant acrylic nails on their hands. And I remember that shit is expensive. And I mean, if you have zero disposable income to spend on food for you and your kids, a lot of these people are parents. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to hear it from someone who's flinging their expensive nails in your face during their TikTok.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how out and proud they're being, though.
Yeah.
And violent. Like they're openly planning to violently attack people.
Like it's one
in the
thing.
streets.
It's one thing to do so with shame because you just want to survive. It's another thing to proudly do so because you don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I don't think they feel any shame.
No.
I mean, we've talked about that before. We need to bring shame back to our society. That would do us a lot of good, especially these people. All right. Let's read the rest of these super chats.
Let's get to a crisis party. That's our EBT.
Yeah, what the hell? We need our EBT. Shane H. Wilder.
How am I going to buy food if we don't get 2 crisis parties every day?
Right. Yeah.
We're not going to the government for our crisis parties. We're going to charity, apparently.
Yeah. We have to have a cup that we shake.
Yes.
Do we have any cups to shake?
I've got
I've
got a We Are Change
We have that,
cup.
but it's full. I'll shake my Stanley. Yeah. Perfect. Shane H. Wilder said, reset the person of interest counter.
Yeah, that's honestly fair.
You should go add that meme to the IMDb trivia.
Maybe I'll check that tonight and say it's possible somebody already added that there. It's a very famous meme template.
Greg Duvier said Pints of Aquinas is
Close
joining
enough.
the Dairy Wire. Wow, I haven't heard of either of those things before. Fascinating. Pop Culture Junkie said, my Disney source says there were many contributors to the Rachel Zegler dumpster fire. Many of them were perpetrators of the cleanup. They're gone. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know more about your Disney source, though. I don't know whether I can trust it. Serena Drakis said, Mary, make that ghost blend with white coffee, please. Barely roasted, twice the caffeine. Well, I would have done that, but Tim says that people get scared of the double caffeine or like boosted caffeine blends. Like he said the Alex Stein blend that has like way more caffeine doesn't sell as well as Ian's coffee because people see the double caffeine and they get scared of it.
You're
So
like, whoa, I don't want to come off like
couldn't be me personally. Like I'm not scared of a little extra caffeine, but if it's not going to sell as well, it's
We
not
got
really
a
worth
rumble
trying.
rant here from Jay Throck. Says, Mary, you should carry even on your trips to Taco Bell.
How do you know that I don't?
How do you do that, though? It says on the sign outside that no firearms are permitted inside the building.
Oh, it says that on.
I'm sure it does.
Restaurant?
Most of them do, yeah. That they're.
Well, how do you know that I don't? You know? Also, you can't buy Taco Bell with EBT. Taco Bell should be the safest place in town.
Theoretically.
Once November kicks off, actually. So maybe I'm just going to exclusively eat Taco Bell from that point forward. Shane H. Wilder said, how do we not have a crisis party yet? Yeah, good question. Are you guys worried about losing your EBT?
Yeah, they haven't.
You saving up for November?
They haven't gotten their EBT. It hasn't hit the account yet, so they're not contributing.
Okay, no judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. Okay.
Kloonberg in the chat says a Monster has like 200 milligrams of caffeine. A cup of coffee has like 60 milligrams of caffeine. Is that true?
I don't drink Monster, but it depends on the coffee.
I know some of the like dollar store energy drinks that I do advertise on the side 200 milligrams of caffeine. I usually don't finish them. I usually drink half. These days,
You should make Monster sourdough.
I should have sent you that. It was the most disturbing video I've ever seen. Making Monster.
I bet it has
sourdough.
like a nice tangy flavor.
Like when they added food coloring to make it really pop, like the pink and green.
Yeah. Well, Monster is clear, right?
No,
No?
it's like greenish.
Oh.
So the funny thing
Ew.
was somebody might know what I'm talking about here. So I had there's like this Aussie lemonade flavor of Monster, which I always see at like specific dollar stores, which I will
Okay.
get then because it's only $1.25 and I don't have to pay $2.60 for it. And I like drank half of one the other day and I threw it away and I dumped it out and it was like the same exact color as a Mountain Dew and I realized it tasted basically exactly like fountain Mountain Dew, like like you get it from a like a fountain rather than in a bottle or a can, like at a restaurant. But again, I'm only drinking like half at a time now to prevent like putting on any more weight that I'm probably going to add in the winter when I'm skating less.
Everyone prefers the fountain drinks. I don't know why.
More syrup.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's just more sugary?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Different texture.
Rural Conservative said, some people I've seen on EBT eat more fancy prepackaged foods than my family bought real earned money. Stuff that was rarely, if ever, in our house. That's something that a lot of people have brought up. Like, if anything, we don't need to cut off EBT. We can regulate the way that it's spent, though. You can use it to buy whole, real foods and not prepackaged, ultra-processed stuff.
Remember the could that have like a side effect benefit where it's like there's like health regulations on what's considered real food, and it would, because these companies love being like Coke, I think what they say 9% of Coke sales were EBT. So it's like maybe if there was a way to like qualify it as food.
the influenceable soda scandal.
Yeah, but maybe
for a reason.
But maybe if it was one of those things where it's like, look, you can't have like prepackaged meatloaf, but you can have like meatloaf that you make. But they're like, okay, but what if we put like enough real actual food in our prepackaged meatloaf that it counts as real food?
I'm sure they could find loopholes. Yeah.
Put those lobbyists to work.
I forget now what the context was for the soda campaign.
I remember that though. I remember Sodagate.
So I guess that there was an executive order related to SNAP benefits back in March. There was or maybe like a proposed soda ban. Anyway, Influenceable had some client of theirs paying for influencers to spread their campaign for big soda.
I mean, this is Mary.
Wow.
Mary, this is where me not being controversial enough or cool enough to be an influencer sucks, because I would have done that I would have been the low end of the payoff spectrum for that.
They had to reframe it as government overreach. So they said, here's one from the Clown World account. The government wants to block soda purchases for Americans on Snap. Remember when NYC tried this and it completely backfired? Trump proudly had a Diet Coke button in the Oval Office. This is ridiculous government overreach. Let people decide for themselves.
Yeah.
Ian Miles Chong said, a new war on soda has begun, targeting purchases made through Snap. I don't believe it's the government's role to decide what people should or shouldn't eat.
I was there for the soda wars of 2024.
The soda war. The war on soda. It's worse than the war on Christmas. Well, there's currently a war on Halloween going on. And
we're going to be talking about that tomorrow.
I am not having it. We can't allow Maha messaging to be used to force needy Americans into buying certain things. Literally, that's not what was happening.
They should have came to me. I would have gone to war for free.
Forcing them to buy what? They're just forcing them to not buy Coke with free money.
Telling you, man. Like, they should have came to me. I would have gone to war for soda for free.
I can't. The talking points were so obvious, too. Like, literally every single one mentioned Trump loving Diet Coke in their tweet, because that was a bullet point that they were given.
That's a fair point. So just because it's
These
a bullet
cheap
point,
hoes.
Yeah, but Trump
they will just
here's the
do
thing, though.
anything for a check.
Donald Trump can afford the Diet Coke.
That's crazy. That is insane. Yeah, well, yeah, taxpayers are not, I presume, paying for his Diet Coke.
Well, I mean, actually, they kind of are. Because they...
Oh, if it's in the White House?
Yeah,
maybe?
then they are.
If
It's like,
in the
oh,
White House, they are.
Trump isn't... Like, if Trump can get government-subsidized Diet Coke, then why the hell can't I?
He might have a preference for prepackaged food, too, because it's less likely to be tampered with.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Shane H. Wilder said to add, most food given to the church is canned vegetables, Spam, rice, and beans. These fatties using EBT won't be getting their Twinkies and Ho-Hos. That's true. I think that's one big reason why they're freaking out. They're not going to get their regular dose of high fructose corn syrup. Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, soda is a liquid. What different texture?
So...
Is it more syrupy?
It's more syrupy. It's less... I guess less, what is it called? Like carbonation and more syrup. It's just a different texture. It's, look, I'm starting to get like the shakes now because I don't drink soda anymore. So now I'm like, I need a soda after work tonight.
You're getting like...
I'm going through withdrawal.
Itching.
I'm not like completely off soda. Like if I see a new soda that I want to try, I'll try it. I usually won't finish it. I'll throw it away.
Oh, this must be that new soda.
Yeah. But I'm doing good. It's like just drinking carbonated water is like the life hack of like I had to kind of train myself to like the taste of just carbonated water and no flavoring or anything, and that took a while. But now
I
it's
gave
like
you some flavorings. Actually.
I have that at home. I've used a couple of them. I got real confused with like the size, like how much I was supposed to put in each.
Oh, I would too, yeah.
In each thing. Because if you use like a soda stream, they have like the big like thing of it and you pour it into the cup and then you pour it into the thing. There was like a line on there that told me how much to put in. The ones you gave me, it was like, it gave me like tablespoons.
It's just like vibes.
I'm like, bro, do I need to get out a measuring cup? I'm like, I'm not doing that. But I did try a couple of them. They weren't too bad. But like I haven't, since then I haven't been, it's just carbonated water. And Mineragua is the superior. Better than...
Mineragua.
That's the name of the brand. Better than... What are the other ones? San Pellegrino. Better than any of the other ones. Mineragua.
I've never even heard of that.
When Tim makes his pool water and he makes spa water, I want a signature brand spa water that's going to be just like Mineragua.
Mineragua. I've never seen this anywhere.
It's so good.
I'll try it, though, at some point. I don't know. I'm a San Pellegrino stan.
It's better than... well, the thing is, I think the difference is San Pellegrino has less carbonation than Mineragua. Mineragua has more. That's what I like about it.
Oh, I like a lightly sparkle.
Then you would like the San Pellegrino.
Potatoes for Seamus said, Mocha is PCC Women of the Year. Happy Tuesday, PCC.
Yeah.
Is Mocha our Woman of the Year
I would
on
say,
this show?
You know what? No, it would have to be Toast because Toast is the younger, ingenue.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, Mocha. You're old and
Toast.
You're old now. We love you, but you're old.
Pop Culture Junkie said Disney source, close to retirement, mid-manager in the TV division, watched Zegler clean up from afar. Lots of post-mess ass coverage was attempted.
I have no doubt.
That would be so entertaining.
Yep.
To be on the inside and like hear all of the crisis meetings.
Oh, Brett's bubble bath water. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about
Brett's
that brand.
bath water. Mary wouldn't do it, but me?
I mean, it would sell well. You can't deny that.
Brett's bubble bath water.
The bubble bath because it's sparkling. That's perfect. How has no one thought of that?
It's and then when they first pitched, I was on IRL the night that they pitched. Like Tim was going through his whole beef with Liquid Death, and he was pitching pool water, and he pitched like the lemon flavored water, like and Olivia texted me and said, call it like public pool water.
Oh no!
No!
Yeah, that could go wrong in a number of ways. I think it should be like Brett's skate sweat.
Nope, bubble bath
like
blend.
The sweat that you squeeze out of your skates.
No, thank you.
How about that?
I'm going with bath water.
We're trying to attract the pervs.
We are what do they call it? We are subverting expectations. No female bath water.
Yeah.
Male bath water.
Bros, is it gay to drink your bros
bath
bubble bath water? No. No, that's not gay at all.
Not
It's
gay at
like
all.
totally normal and totally hetero.
Mm.
Potatoes for Seamus said, put a Seamus on PCC, Brett/Mary 2028.
Can you be vice president if you're under the age of 35? Or do you does the same
No.
requirement befall
Let
the
me
vice
see.
president?
I don't think you can be. Because obviously, you know, if you had to become president,
Yeah.
you'd have to be over 35.
They're saying no in the chat. Somebody says yes, somebody says no.
That the minimum for vice president is 35. So we would need to wait a little while.
Yep.
But maybe eventually,
Never know.
once this country goes full idiocracy, we'd be the perfect ticket.
Mm.
Punisher 5150 said, on November 1st, ICE should hang out at grocery stores. I mean, at the very least, I know there are certainly illegal immigrants who are using SNAP benefits and EBT cards, of course.
That whole segment just, ugh.
What?
You know, that's just depressing.
I was expecting it to be kind of a riot. You know?
Yeah. And
I
then
thought it was funny, at least.
the videos were funny, but it's also depressing. It's like, I'd like to think that that type of, like, brazen behavior doesn't exist. Like, I know that the behavior exists, but it's like you said, it used to be a culture of shame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you can't rectify it if you don't feel the shame for the behavior.
Right. Then there's no path forward.
Yeah.
Oscar Regalato said, all that Starbucks making them poor. Yeah, it must be those staying $7 lattes.
Whatever, man. Like, I make my coffee at home now. I get my $4 cold brew concentrate from Walmart.
I'm a $7 latte enjoyer, and I will not apologize for that.
I mean, I get to work and, like, depending on how much because the ratio is supposed to be 1-to-1, like, coffee, like, concentrate to water. But sometimes I go a little bit more concentrate, and then I get to work and I'm a little bit jittery, and I'm like,
I could tell. You mentioned it earlier. I was like, I don't really get anxious from caffeine like that.
I think it's also because, like, when you take Adderall for years and you're getting, like, legitimate, you're basically taking legal speed than any other type of caffeine. It's more of a nuisance to your body than actually giving you energy.
You can just get the pre-made cold brew. It's way easier.
But no, now it's part of my morning routine to, like, get up, get ready for work, and make it myself.
All right.
Yeah. And it saves me money. I get, like, one of those things lasts, like, at least a week. So $4 for a week's worth of coffee is pretty good.
Yeah.
I do put creamer in it, but that's...
You can make cold brew at home with, like, instant coffee, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to just do the concentrate. I have bought, like,
You need like 2 different containers, and you need a cheesecloth, which is like,
I don't have time for
I'm
that.
not.
Who's
I'm
got
not doing
time for
this.
that?
Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett, we need Brett's leg lengthening water. Let's go.
Well, I mean, yeah, if every...
Thank you,
all
guys.
of it, subsidize the leg lengthening surgery.
Someone said that $7 lattes are stupid. No, you're stupid. I've enjoyed many a $7 latte, and I don't care what you say. It just tastes better when you buy it. Okay? Shane H. Wilder said Maison Perrier, San Pellegrino, or Topo Chico.
Okay, so...
San Pellegrino.
For me, I've never had Perrier, but I just had Topo Chico. Is it Topo or Topo? I don't know. I just had that for the first time this weekend because we were out doing errands, as married couples do. And I went to the store and I'm like, there's nothing here but soda and regular water. There was one sparkling water, and it was Topo Chico. It was really good. I think I'd still choose Mineragua over it because it's cheaper where I get it.
Greg Duvier said the left lane is for crime.
That is true. He is 100% true. That is 100% accurate. All right.
You're valid.
Before we go, guys, could you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already? Please and thank you. Remember to share the segments and the live streams out with everybody in your life that you both love and hate. The more people that you share it with, the faster this channel can grow. Mary, where can they find you?
Yes, you guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived, and help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived. And of course, I don't want to forget to mention that you can now get Mary's Ghost Blend on castbrew.com, my s'mores flavored blend. It's perfect for autumn, and I do have proof. I have had multiple cups of this coffee, and I recommend it from my own first-hand review.
She's not even reading from a script.
And George Santos also endorsed it, but he didn't try it. So
there you go.
Take that with a grain of salt.
There's one more here from Shane H. Wilder.
I had a professor who would brew a pot of coffee, pour a cup, then add coffee concentrate like it was
Coffee Mate.
Coffee Mate? No idea how his heart hadn't exploded. That's crazy behavior. You could just add like a shot of espresso, right?
It's like the videos of like the guys like making Monster, like they put Monster into ice cube trays and then they put it in their Monster can. It's like never
like
skip
me when
heart
I'm
day.
listening to Skrillex.
Yeah. Basically, that's a good way of thinking about it. Too many monsters is like listening to Skrillex. All right, if you guys want to follow me, I am on Instagram and X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We are here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch the show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which is another great way to help the channel out. If you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see y'all then.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.